I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. This is just for the front part. I went ahead using my hip measurement divided by 4, then I added extra 2-inch allowance for my joining. Okay, this is an African print. Okay, you can use any material of your choice. So I'm going to go ahead and put a line across for my starting line, just as seen. So next I'm going to go ahead and measure my hip and impute it. Then I'll go ahead and measure my knee length and then my skirt length. Okay, then I'm going to draw a straight line all across. I'm not going to be including a band to this skirt. Okay, I'm going to be using a lining, but I'm going to be using a different method of inserting my lining. I'm going to be using a short lining for this dress. Okay, so just go ahead and watch to the end so you can understand how I'm going to come about imputing it. So I've gone ahead to draw a straight line across my hip measurements, my knee and my skirt length. So at my waist point, I'm going to go ahead and measure my round waist and insert it. Then I'm going to be adding extra 2 inches allowance for joining. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and also measure my hip circumference, and I'm going to be adding 2 inches as well. Then I'm going to go ahead, so I measured my round knee, then I'm going to be adding just 1 inch for ease. Then I'm going to be adding the 2 inches allowance. Okay, this because this is a pencil, a straight skirt. It's going to give us a pencil shape, so I don't want it so big. So what I have at my knee, I'm going to go ahead and measure exactly what I have there on my skirt length. So now I'm going to be connecting all the lines from the top, from the waist down to the skirt length, just as seen. Don't forget, I measured my round knee circumference. I added 1 extra inch for ease, then I added my 2 inches allowance, making it a total of 3 inches. Then what I have at my knee, I went ahead to measure exactly it at my skirt, the hem of my skirt. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm going to go ahead and cut out. Okay, then I'm going to be going down by 1/2 inch at the top of my skirt, but I won't be cutting that out right now. I will cut that out after tracing out my back pattern. Don't forget, what I have down there is approximately 2 inches. That's what I'll be using to fold the hem of my skirt. Okay, so I'm just going to ensure that it's exactly 2 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and cut out my skirts. At this point, if you are yet to subscribe, don't forget to hit the subscription button. Okay, so now for the front part, I've gone ahead to add for the front part I added extra 2 inches, but for the back part I'm adding 3 inches. Why? Because I'm going to be adding a zipper to the back of the skirt, so I'm going to take out the 1 inches for my zipper allowance all the way down, just as I'm doing right now. Then I'm going to draw a straight line across. Then from that line is where I'm going to now impute my front pattern. Then I'm going to trace out. So now I'm just going to impute my front pattern at the line I've drawn. This 1 inch is for my zipper allowance. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and trace out. Okay, I'm also going to go ahead and pin it down just so that our skirts will align. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and trace out my front pattern on my back pattern, just as seen. Okay, then I'll go ahead and open it up. Okay, So for the front pattern, you remember I went down by 1/2 inch, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that out in a slanted form, just as seen. Okay, I later went ahead to open up my zipper part. Okay, so now for the lining, I'm going to measure from my waist to my knee. I'm going to show you that later. So here I'm cutting out my lining. Remember I told you that I'm not going to be using a full lining for this skirt. I'm going to be using a totally different method. Okay, like we learn every day. So I'm going from my knee point, I'm going to approximately just go down by 1 inch, just as you see me do. Okay, I'm going to go down by, you can go down by 1.5 or 2 inches, but I'm just going to go down by 1 inch. That's where I want my lining to stop. Then I'm going to go ahead and trace out. Okay, so I'm going to fold the excess, then I'll trace out. And I'm also going to be repeating this for my back pattern. Okay, don't forget that the lining is actually on fold. My lining is on fold because it's the front pattern. Okay, I'll go ahead and give it a good press, and I'll repeat the same for the back. So now we are going to go ahead and start our joining. So from the back, for the back pattern, we're going to be starting with the back pattern. I'm going to measure where my zipper is going to stop, approximately 8 to 9 inches. Then from the down part, I'm going to measure how long I want my slits. This is depends on how long you want your slits. Okay, I don't want mine so long, so I'm going to go ahead and join these 2 points that I marked just as seen. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close it up, and I'll also go ahead and close up my lining. Okay, so this part I mark is the zipper area. I'm just going to mark out where I want my zip to be, and I'm going to join all the way down. So now this is what it looks like by the time I was done joining it. Okay, that's the zipper part, and this is the lining. I've also go ahead and give it a good press. Okay, so next we are going to go ahead and impute our zipper. All right, normally I will just go ahead, as I'm inserting my zipper, I'll go ahead and sew through my lining as well, but because I want you to understand how I'm going to be going about this, I'm going to be doing it one at a time. So open up the zipper part just as seen and place your zipper. At this point, I'll advise you pin down so as to ensure that you have a perfect stitch at the zipper area. So go ahead and just pin it down just as seen. Then we'll head over to the sewing machine and stitch our zipper on it. Okay, so by the time you're done stitching, it's going to be this way. At this point, I wanted, like I said, I wanted to just go ahead and insert my lining, but I later changed my mind. So here I've gone ahead to insert my zipper just as seen. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and insert our lining. So I'm going to zip it down just like I did over there. Then I'm going to open it up totally just the way you see it here. Then I'm going to pin down. Okay, I'm going to pin down straight. I'm going to do the same for the other side as well. I'm going to pin it down all the way straight down. Then I'm going to open, you see the way I pinned it down, so I'm going to also pin down straight just as seen. So I pinned down the other side, so I'm also going to be pinning down this side all to the point where I marked initially where I wanted my zipper to be. Okay, so I'm going to sew through that area as well. So I'll sew through this side, and I'll also sew through this side. Okay, so I'm done sewing it in. You can see what it looks like. This is how yours should look. So I'm going to cut out the zipper excess just as you see me doing, then I'm going to open it up. You can see how neatly our zipper has come out. You can see how neat the inside is looking. I'll do the same for the other side. I'll cut out the zipper excess, then I will go ahead and open it in. Then I will go to my ironing table and give it a good press. At this point, you can go ahead and also impute a hemming gum so as to give it that neat finishing. Okay, so this is what yours should look like. So I've gone ahead to zip it. You can see how beautiful it is. So for the front parts, we are going to go ahead and sew through our lining. We are going to sew our lining and turn it over to the other side. Okay, so this is what it looks like by the time I was done. I also went ahead to give it a good press. So next, we are going to be placing our back pattern on our front piece, and we're going to take in our measurements. So I'm going to just be taking 1 inch on both sides because that is what I imputed. So look at how I'm demonstrating how you should stitch it. Okay, I'm going to be stitching fabric to fabric and lining to lining. Okay, don't forget fabric to fabric and lining on lining. So go ahead and pin it down so you don't make any mistake. So after pinning it down, I'm going to go ahead and go insert and impute all my necessary measurements to be sure that it's going to give me a good finishing. Okay, and we are almost done with this tutorial. Don't forget to hit the subscription button if you are yet to subscribe, and follow me for more sewing tutorials, as I'll be sharing lots of beginner friendly sewing tutorials as well as style inspirations as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch down, and I'm also going to go ahead and close up the down part. So this is what it looks like by the time I was done sewing it. I've gone ahead to also close up all my edges, the down part as well, and I've given it a good press. Thank you so much for watching to the end. I hope you learned 1 or 2 from this video. Don't forget, like I said, to follow, and I'll see you in my next. Bye.